Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, Sunday, June 27th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack on a Sunday, ready to break down this MLB slate. Let's get right to it. Sunday, always one of those days for me. I'm a little bit shake. I'm a little bit fearful of what to expect on a Sunday. This has been my worst day of the baseball season consistently throughout the year so far. So hopefully we got some good results ahead today for MLB. Actually, it was a lot better for me last Sunday. It was the best Sunday I've had all season. So hopefully more of the same today. Baltimore and Toronto will start there. Jorge Lopez, Ross Stripling, the pitching matchup. Blue Jays a massive favorite here, minus 240, 10.5 the total. The Blue Jays absolutely took apart and destroyed this Baltimore team yesterday. They absolutely got to Keegan Aiken, second, third time through the order, and then they did a lot of damage against the Oriole pen. A good win for me with the over in that game. Most of the work done by the Jays. Vladdy hits another home run in that game. Jorge Lopez, he's been occasionally effective here and there, but most of the time he's been pretty bad. 2-9, 5.68 ERA. Ross Stripling, on the other hand, look, he made an adjustment in his mechanics a few starts ago, and he's given up basically 3 runs or less in pretty much every outing ever since then. So he has really put together a good run of baseball here for this Blue Jays team. I lean to the Toronto side. I might look at a run line here, minus 1.5. I think they might be able to do some damage here. The bullpen is normally a scary concern you have with the Blue Jays, but they got a great start out of Ryu yesterday, and he finally gave them some innings. Finally, a Blue Jays starter not only pitched well, but pitched deep into the game. So this should be a rested and ready Blue Jays bullpen today. So if they're going to have a good day in this bullpen, it would be today. All their key relievers are rested because of yesterday. Ryu pitched deep. It was a blowout game. They didn't have to use any of their best relievers. So I think that bodes well for the bullpen today. I'm going to lay the 1.5 here with the Jays. It looks like a good smackdown spot here against the Orioles. Definitely could look at some home run props here. Springer, Simeon, and Grichuk have all hit home runs against Lopez. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hasn't, but he's still 3 for 5 against Lopez, and he's hitting a home run. He's a threat to hit a home run every day right now. So I would still look probably at Vladdy as a home run Jack of the Day candidate as well. Connor, what do you think here? Orioles, Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'll be quick. These Blue Jays just keep ripping it. I mean, you go through everything. Hernandez, the whole thing here. Vladdy, they rip Lopez. I want nothing to do with him. I'd take him on the run line as well. I'd lean over 10.5. Stripling has pitched better, but I don't want, Stripling's not a guy I'd feel confident. I'd lean the full game over 10.5. Maybe Blue Jays team total. Team's just ripping the ball. All of a sudden, it's just yesterday was explosion. Jack, come back, runs. I think it's more of the same. I don't trust Lopez at all. Who knows? He will go out and pitch a shutout. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't think so. So I lean over, and I would take the Jays on the run line as well.
Well, and the reason you say that, Connor, is because Lopez is one of those guys. He has like 3 or 4 terrible starts in a row, and then he has that one pretty good start. Then he has 3 more bad starts, and then he'll have that one good start. That's kind of been his pattern. He's had that odd good start, but it's come after a series of terrible starts, and he still had more bad than good. But I know what you're saying.
And the Jays hit him hard.
Yeah, there's no question. And Blue Jays, to me, home run props with the Blue Jays, with a bunch of them, I think worth a look there. Next up, we've got the Yankees and the Red Sox. Garrett Cole, Eduardo Rodriguez, Yankees minus 145 to minus 150. Road favorites, 9.5 the total in this one. I'm going to lay the price with the Yankees here. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Look, we talk about how Garrett Cole is always so freaking expensive every day to try to back this guy. Well, this time he's actually reasonable. I mean, minus 140 is actually a bargain. Minus 140, minus 145 with the Yankees here today. I like the spot, too. I find Garrett Cole in these situations. Look, he knows the Yankees have lost the first 2 games of this series. He knows he's the slump buster. He's the stopper. He's got to go out there, get the job done. And he usually thrives in these kind of situations. He really puts that, that laser focus, goes out there and really is able to get the job done in these kind of spots, like back against the wall for his team. They're trying to avoid a sweep. I think they get the job done. And look, Eduardo Rodriguez is just hideous right now. Absolutely terrible. So I have no problems going against him. Yeah, you might look on it on the surface and say, you know what, Yankees minus 140 on the road, no way. But considering it's Garrett Cole, who's obviously, this is the spot that I like him in, considering it's Eduardo Rodriguez, who's absolutely brutal right now, I think all things considered, it's actually a bargain, to be honest, here with the Yankees here. So I'm going to go ahead with the Yankees here. And I'm going to go just full game, minus 140, minus 145 because of the bullpen. They haven't had to use any of their good relievers, the Yankees, the last 2 days because they've been losing. So they should have all those good relievers ready late in the game today. What do you think here, Connor Mac? Yankees, Red Sox.
I think it's a little bit of a bargain too. We'll see how Cole goes on without his sticky shit the rest of the way.
Well, he's been good.
Eduardo Rodriguez,
he's
been solid.
So he's been solid. Yeah.
Hey, the guy's the real deal. Anyways, Rodriguez isn't, and I don't want his 6 ERA. So I lean the Yanks too. And there's a ton of Yankees that rip Rodriguez. Gleyber Torres, 6 for 17, 3 home runs. Sanchez has a couple homers. And then there's a slew of all the other Yankees that have homers off him, and they hit him well. I lean the Yankees here. I maybe go half a run, first 5, bring down this juice a little bit. Do something like that. I don't know about run line, but I might go first 5, half a run here.
All right, first 5, half a run. Yeah, that's a good option too. You'll get actually a pretty good price there, right around even if you go with that. Next up, we've got Houston, Detroit, Jake Odorizzi, Tariq Skubal on the mound here. Houston, big road favorites here, 9.5 the total. Oh, man, this is tough. I've got a lot of things I considered here. I considered Tigers, actually, first 5 innings, because I like the way Skubal's pitched, but he's a lefty, man. And we know how Houston has absolutely crushed lefty pitching throughout the course of the season and just crushed the baseball overall, to be honest with you. Now, they've never faced Skubal, so that could be an advantage for him. Odorizzi, I just don't really trust him fully at all. And there's actually a lot of Tigers that have destroyed him in the past. You could be looking at some jack-of-the-day candidates here from a Detroit perspective. Cabrera, Jonathan Scope, Nomar Mazara, even Akil Baddoo, 2 for 2, including a home run against Odorizzi in the past. Yeah, they haven't faced Skubal, but this is a good hitting team against lefties. We know that. So I was initially looking at Tigers first 5, and now I'm considering more and more maybe an over 9.5 here in this game. We did have 2 lower scoring games yesterday in this doubleheader between these two teams. So maybe that's going to lend itself here to a bit of a higher scoring game after we had some low scoring games yesterday. And keep in mind, overall for the season, Houston 287, 6.5 runs per game against lefties. The last 10 games, absolutely sick. Absolutely sick numbers against lefties for Houston. 360 team batting average and 8.6 runs per game for the Houston Astros against lefties in their last 10 games. So I'm going to go ahead with over 9.5 here. And I think the Tigers can do something against Odorizzi here. I'm not buying him after one decent start last time out. I'm going to have to see more of it. And some Tigers have hit him pretty good in the past. What do you think, Connor?
Boom, you just nailed it. The Tigers have hit him in the past. I think we see a little bit of runs here. Yeah, the whole dilemma. We got the Astros against the lefty. Skubal's been really good. His last 7 starts, 4-1, 3 ERA. He's really working all 3 pitches, the fastball, curveball, change. But I think there's some runs here. I think the Tigers can score. Hey, I had them. I played the doubleheader yesterday in game 1. I had the first 5 under 5, and I pushed. I had the Tigers. They pushed. They scored in the 6th. They won the game. I stayed off game 2. But yeah, I think maybe this is an in-game over, or there could be some runs. I'm going to wait and see, but I'm going to stay off. I just can't. I'd want the Tigers even more, a bigger price with a lefty on the mound against the Astros, who are probably a little bit pissed off after yesterday.
Yeah, they split the 2 games, but they want to win today. I mean, after split, this is a Detroit team that's below 500. They don't want to lose this one today. So I think that lineup comes focused. I think you're going to see a lot of their big bats in the lineup. They haven't confirmed their lineup, but sometimes on Sundays you wear. Oh, there we go. Now we got it confirmed. Looks like we've got Altuve, Straw, Gurriel, Alvarez, Correa, Tucker. Okay, it looks like Bregman is out. Looks like Bregman's not in the lineup today. But other than that, Correa, Tucker, Alvarez, Gurriel, Straw, Altuve, most of the other batters are in there. So, and by the way, this total's down to 9 in some spots here. If you can find a 9, I think that's a great value bet to the over, because with the way Houston's been hitting the last week or so, you get a 9 with them. It's actually a bargain. Sometimes you don't always say that, but with this team right now and a game total of 9, that's a steal at this moment with the way they're hitting
I
right
think
now
so too.
against lefties.
Real quick, just both teams were playing to the over. We got 2 unders in that doubleheader, but before that, Tigers and Astros, both teams playing towards the over all their games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a really good spot. You can get it around -115, yeah.
All right, we got Atlanta, Cincinnati, Kyle Muller, Tyler Mahle on the mound. Cincinnati -150, home favorites 9.5 the total in this one. Don't really have a strong feel for this one. Mahle's obviously had a pretty solid season for the Cincinnati Reds. I've talked about Mahle on multiple occasions, and now I think I expected him to be a pretty decent pitcher this year for the Cincinnati Reds. The last few starts for him, he had a little bit of a rough go of it back in May, but pretty consistent overall. You look at his last 6 starts, he's given up 3 runs or less in 5 of the last 6 outings. The Reds have consistently won with Mahle on the mound. They're 5-1 in Mahle's last 6 starts. They're 11-4 overall this season with Mahle on the mound. We have Kyle Muller, the lefty, on the mound for the Atlanta Braves, making his 2nd start of the season, going with a spot starter. They want to give old man Morton some more rest. So Muller is going to end up being a spot starter today. He allowed 1 run in 4 innings against the Mets, struck out 2 in that one as well. The Braves not hitting, simple as that. They have now scored 3 runs or less, Connor, 9 straight games. Absolutely dormant right now, this Braves lineup. I think Cincinnati's probably the way I would go. I just don't want to lay this big of a price here, -150. I like Mahle. He's probably a little bit more the better arm than Muller. The Reds probably a little bit more trustworthy lineup right now than Muller, but it's well priced. I mean, it's -150. I mean, you were getting the Reds around pick'em, even money, the last 2 games in this series. Now you're laying a premium, and so yeah, I think Cincinnati's the side. But again, you're betting prices here. You're betting numbers. You're not betting teams necessarily. You are, but you know what I mean. You're betting them at the price they're attached to. And to me, -150 is a little too rich for my blood, but I definitely lean Cincinnati. What do you think, C-Mac?
Fuck, I'm done with the Atlanta Braves, man. I took them yesterday, and you were right, Ian. I should have stayed off. I should have ran hell away, ran home. Damn, they're horrible.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't want them here. Muller on the mound. Mahle's pretty good. I like the Reds. Maybe their team total. I see the 4.5's really juiced, or that you can get a 5.5 around +118, 120. I'd look that way, but I'm running far away from both these teams, especially the Braves. I want nothing to do with them.
All right, we have the Phillies and the Mets. Zach Wheeler, Marcus Stroman. Wheeler in the sky keeps on turning. There we go. I finally got one with Zach Wheeler. Little journey there. Mets -115. 7.5 the total in this one. Zach Wheeler, he's actually had a pretty good season for the most part overall for the Philadelphia Phillies here. Stroman on the other side, there have been people that are prognosticating his demise for a while, saying, is he going to go a full season pitching this well? But boy, he just keeps on keeping on right now for this New York Mets pitching staff. I mean, 2.31 ERA this season for Stroman, 2.36 ERA for Wheeler, and both of these guys not only great this season, but great in the short term too. 1.59 ERA last 3 Wheeler, Marcus Stroman 1.88 last 3 starts. Marcus Stroman 1.95 ERA at home, Wheeler 2.84 ERA on the road. And you look at these 2 teams right now, the Phillies, they've been not great at the plate lately. I would say 0-0, 2-1, 4. Other than a 7-run outburst against the Braves, they haven't exactly been crushing the ball lately. The New York Mets, I should say, they haven't been crushing the ball. Philadelphia, on the other side, they've scored just 6 runs in their last 3 games combined in this series against the Mets. I don't know. This is all the makings of a first 5 under to me. That's the way definitely I would be looking. What do you think, Conor Mac?
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I wish it was a 4. I mean, you probably can find one. The 3.5's even money. I was staring at that this morning as well. And the Mets. I'm going to just lean with the Mets here at home with Stroman. I like it. Yesterday, instead of going the first 5 under the 3, I went full game under 6.5, and that's another one that took me yesterday as there was late runs, and the Mets bullpen that's been really good gave it up, then came back 1-4-3. got me. But I lean Mets, and I lean the first 5 under 3.5 in this one.
That's brutal. I mean, if you had that under 6.5, I mean, that was definitely cruising. And that's a couple games in this series where like the under is cruising through 5 innings or so. And then all of a sudden the roof caves in late. It happened in one of the first games of this series too. Same thing.
And I talked about it. The 6.5 I didn't like. The 7 you get a push, but I still pulled the trigger on it because DeGrom was on the mound. But it got me.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's a tough one. I mean, that was one of those rights. It's the right bet, wrong result. That's exactly what it was. Washington and Miami. You've got Max Scherzer, Sandy Alcantara here. You've got Washington minus 130. Road favorites 6.5 the total in this game. We'll have to wait. This is the first Max Scherzer start since that first time he had pitched since the whole full body search started with the umpires on the starting pitchers, and Max was one of those pitchers that had a problem with it. Max Scherzer is going to be something to watch moving forward here with this, this new procedure that they're going through to check pitchers for the sticky stuff before the games, because he was bothered by it. And not only that, but he only pitched 5 innings and 106 pitches to get through 5 innings. It's almost like it threw him off a little bit. It didn't make him as economical or as efficient as he normally is. So keep an eye on that here with Max Scherzer, because, he found, I think he was so agitated by that whole situation. Then there's Girardi checking him a couple times in that game as well. Is he bothered enough that it affects his pitching a little bit? He also had 3 walks in that game, which is uncharacteristic of Max Scherzer. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. We have Sandy Alcantara for the at Miami Marlins, who's actually been absolutely phenomenal in his last 4 starts. He has given up a grand total of 5 runs in his last 32 innings of work going into this game this afternoon here against the Washington Nationals. So he has pitched extremely well. Miami won yesterday by a score of 3-2. He's been damn good as of late, Sandy. No question. Here at Marlins Park, a 2.19 ERA. Look, Scherzer's been good too, don't get me wrong, but you're laying a little price here with him in terms of the past matchups. When you look at numbers, Marlins haven't done a whole lot of damage against Scherzer. The one concern is there has been some damage from some of these Nationals hitters against Sandy. Robles 2 for 6, Juan Soto 7 for 17 and 2 home runs. So as much as I like Sandy, that's a pretty obvious Jack of the Day candidate when you see numbers like that for Juan Soto. So I guess I would lean Miami a little bit, first 5, but probably going to stay off this game. I like Sandy's form, and he's been lights out here at Marlins Park. And I have concerns about Scherzer. He looked like he was totally agitated and not sharp the last time out with this freaking search the pitcher that's going on these days. But there are some concerning numbers for some of these Nationals hitters against Sandy. So I think I'm going to end up passing. What do you think, Conor?
Yeah, a bunch of conflicting stuff for me in this one. Sandy's at home. He's better there. 3-3, but his 1.79 ERA his last 7. Scherzer's been really good. 6-4, 2 ERA, 2 something. I like him at home a little bit better than on the road. They're favorites. The first 5 unders 3. It's minus 105. And we got another full game under 6.5. I'd still lean under. The Marlins don't hit. They exploded in game 1 of this series, but we got a 3-2 game yesterday. I still lean under in this one. And maybe the Marlins catching a price, if they could score a run or 2, maybe first 5. They got a solid bullpen as well. Yeah, you mentioned it, Soto, 7 for 17, a couple homers. And the only guy who's hit anyone for the Marlins off Scherzer is Rojas, and he's 9 for 32. He's hitting 281. Everyone else, is way down, hitting 200 off him. Bad numbers. But Rojas, 9 for 32 with a jack off Scherzer.
All right, next up, we got the Angels and Rays in a game that I believe was a winner for Connor Mack yesterday. I think he liked the over in that game yesterday with the Angels and the Rays, and it got there with plenty of room to spare. I unfortunately like the Angels first 5, and Alex Cobb, corn on the cob, would pitch better than that yesterday for the LA Angels. Not impressed with what I saw out of Alex Cobb yesterday. But now we got Patrick Sandoval and Ryan Yarbrough, 2 lefties here on the mound this afternoon in this one. We've got the Tampa Bay Rays minus 155 home favorites, 8 the total, although 7.5s are starting to show up here in some spots across the board. 13-3 victory for the Tampa Bay Rays yesterday. As I mentioned, not a good outing for Alex Cobb. McClanahan was on the ropes a little bit too, but he settled down. He had one kind of rough inning, but other than that, he settled down and pitched reasonably well and ended up going 6 innings yesterday. Look, I think this is a situation here, Conor, Mac, where we might be able to see some runs again. I mean, we talked about it yesterday with David Sharp. This Angels team is crushing lefty pitching right now. They really are. They're going to obviously see one to start the game here, and Ryan Yarbrough. With these bullpen days for Kevin Cash and the Rays, there's always that question, just how many innings, how many pitches are you going to get out of Yarbrough? But still, you're starting this game, you're a lefty, and the Angels have been feasting on that lately. And the Rays, for a while, were struggling big time against lefties, but they've picked it up against lefty pitching, and they'll face Patrick Sandoval, a lefty, here today. The Rays are hitting 270 as a team and 5.4 runs per game against lefties in their last 10 games. I'm still of the belief, and the metrics will point this out with Sandoval. He's pitching decently so far, but he's due for some correction. He's going to start to get hit a little bit. He's got higher hard hit contact rate. His swinging strike rate's gone down a little bit. He's given up harder hit contact. He's given up more home runs as well. He gave up 2 home runs to the Tigers in his last start. So I think you're going to see him start to regress a little bit. 7.5, a reasonable total here. The over does make some sense here. And again, we saw one cash easily yesterday between these two teams. So if I were to look one way or another here, it would be over 7.5. Not an opinion for me on the side in this game. What do you think, Conor, Mac, Angels, Rays?
Yeah, I think the total might just be just a bit too low again here. And it could be a low-scoring one. Who knows? A 3-2 game. But a 7.5, you can probably get minus 125, 130, or get the 8 at even money. There's some still out there. I'd like to take the Angels here. I know you did it yesterday, the first 5. I haven't bet on Sandoval much at all this year, and it's tough right now to take him on the road. Yarbrough, he's just a guy, sometimes at home he's really, really good, and other times he can get just jacked around. He's a guy, his ERA is right around 4.5, 5. He looks really good or bad. I don't want him at minus 150. So yeah, I'd look towards the Angels here. And I look to more runs. They've been hitting a bit lately. Rays have been. Shout out to my guy Maxwell Smart. He threw me a Mike Zunino Jack of the Day yesterday. So I gotta give a shout out to him. He hit a homer. Yeah. So in the back in the Discord. So yeah, he hit one. But yeah, I'd lean a little bit over again. I think the total's just a little bit low. Again in this one, and I'd lean towards the Angels getting this plus money early.
All right, lean to the Angels. Yeah, I tried the Angels first 5 yesterday with Cobb. I don't like Sandoval as much, I'm staying off that. I'm just going to go for runs here in this. And by the way, Yarbrough's got a 5.4 ERA this season at Tropicana Field, so he's not exactly thrived here in Tampa Bay this year. Yep. So I think we could see some runs. And again, you're not talking about you don't need a slugfest to get over that total. 7.5. Both teams get to 4. You're good. You get 5-3 for somebody, you cash your ticket. You don't need a 6-5 game or anything. So definitely looking over the total there. Next up, speaking of over the total, I'm looking in that direction here as well. Colorado and Milwaukee with Chichi Gonzalez and Eric Lauer on the mound for these two. We've got Milwaukee almost minus 200, home favorites here, 9 the total. This Colorado team, they really are a piece of work. You know that? Just unbelievable ineptitude you get from this team. I mean, right in games and just snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I mean, that's exactly what this team is so good at doing. And they did it again yesterday against the Brewers. They get off to a good start. They're actually leading early in the game, and then the bullpen implodes. They lose 10-4 yesterday. They get blown up. But I was on the over yesterday between those two teams, so I was very happy to see that with Senzatella and Hauser. Neither one was very, very sharp yesterday. And I don't trust either of these jokers on the mound today to be sharp. Chichi Gonzalez, his 9.92 ERA in his last 3 starts. How about Eric Lauer in that 10.5 ERA in his last 3 starts? How about 3-0 to the over for both of these pitchers in their last 3 starts? You combine them up, 7-2 to the over this year for Chichi in his 9 starts, 4-2 to the over for Lauer in his 6 starts, and you've got a combined 11-4 to the over in your favor here Give me the over here. I mean, and both bullpens too, not reliable. We know Colorado's is an absolute dumpster. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this about the Angels game just now. The Angels have an ERA bullpen of 7.2 in their last 10 games. 7.2 from the Angel
That's
pen
my guys.
in the last 10 games. That's the guys we know and love from that
That's the
shitty
guy
ass
I love
bullpen.
out there.
So
Hell
that's
yeah.
another reason that 7.5 will be live. Even if it's maybe 1-1 after 3 innings in that Tampa game, you could get the runs late there. Same with this game. I mean, Colorado's bullpen, we saw what they did yesterday. It's a dog's breakfast, that Colorado bullpen. 5.46 ERA through the season, 5.54 ERA the last 10 games from that bullpen. Milwaukee's has been pretty good, actually, but not this Colorado pen. So 2 untrustworthy starters, 2 lineups that usually aren't capable. But look, we talk about Milwaukee, who's going to hit for them. Somehow they scored 5 runs and 10 runs in the first 2 games of this series. So, yeah, they've got some injuries. They got some guys out of the lineup, but that shows you how bad Colorado's pitching is right now, that Milwaukee, even with a patchwork lineup, can get the job done. So I like over 9 here, Colorado, Milwaukee. What do you think, C-Mac?
I was just wanted you to spit out all those great things like 3-1 to the over, because this last night, this is like, I'll just say it. This was my best bet. I kind of made it last night because I got the 9 at minus 105. Now it's minus 120. 125. Man, the Rockies hit lefties. The Lauer guys like Charlie Blackmon are 11 for 20 with 2 homers. Trevor Story's 8 for 17 with 3 jacks off Lauer. And my guy Chichi, I just can't trust him, especially on the road. Even a Brewers team can't hit a lick at times. I think they can score some runs here. Yeah, and maybe it's just you got to take Gonzalez here, first 5. You'd have to take him and get the plus price. The Rockies can get out to a lead. They just can't win a game on the road. But yeah, this is over for me, definitely. And Jack of the day for those 2 guys. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jack of the day. I mean, there's some candidates here in this game. There is no question about that. Several. You mentioned for the Brewers, Colton Wong's worth a look. He's hit one against Chichi. But against Lauer, you're right. Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon. Keep an eye on this Jonathan Daza here for the Colorado Rockies. He has been hitting the ball quite well lately for them. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But yeah, 9's a higher total in Milwaukee for sure. But look, I think it's warranted. Look, the first 2 games of this series, we've seen 9 and 14 runs in the first 2 games of this series. So that's an average of, a little over 11 runs per game. In the first 2 games of this series. So, yeah, it looks on the surface like 9 might be high, but I think 10-plus runs is very, very achievable in this game.
I thought it was a good number. I mean, to get, with these 2 pitchers, they're horrible. If you would have saw a 10 or something, then no, but I like it at the 9.
Yeah, definitely. Good question. CFL starting so late this year. What are your thoughts about expansion? And expansion is going to happen. I think Halifax will get a team. I know that'll make my good friend Andrew out there very happy if that happens. I don't know about Windsor's not getting a CFL team, man. No way. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But definitely out in Atlantic Canada, they're going to get one. Yeah, CFL football starts in August. It'll be first. Usually the season's just started like a week or 2 ago. But because, COVID and they're waiting for Canada to really get back on track, that's why it's starting later this year with the CFL season. By the way, we'll probably arrange some kind of CFL content here on Pub Sports Radio, courtesy of yours truly, because I doubt anybody's fluid with CFL on the channel other than me. So we'll do something. We'll do play of the day or play of the week or something. Some kind of recorded video we'll do for the channel when CFL season starts in August. So definitely looking forward to that for sure. Just having football back will be good. Canadian football, especially because I missed it last year. I was very upset when CFL season got canceled. Cleveland and Minnesota. Speaking of getting canceled, I think we should cancel these 2 pitchers from the starting rotations of their teams right now. Sam Hentges for the Cleveland Indians. Jay Happ for the Minnesota Twins has been hapless lately. Minnesota minus 145 home favorites. In this one, the total 10 across the board. Actually, he was a little bit better. I'll give Happ a little credit. He was a little bit better in his last start for the for the Minnesota Twins, but it's still been a rough ride for Jay Happ in the last several starts for him. We'll see if he can figure it out here today against the Cleveland Indians. Something else that you do have to be a little bit concerned about too is some of the track records of these Cleveland hitters against him. Jose Ramirez has had success. Eddie Rosario, 6 for 19 and 2 home runs. There's a dead eye Jack of the Day candidate right there. Eddie Rosario of the Cleveland Indians, 2 home runs against J Happ in the past, 6 for 19, 316 batting average. Yeah, the other one, Ahmed Rosario, 7 for 12 and a home run as well. 583 against J Happ right now in his career. So these are just some dreadful numbers for J Happ against some of these Cleveland hitters. By the way, Cleveland against lefties, that's an old wives' tale that they can't hit lefties. Lately, it's been a different story. They've hit 284 against lefties in their last 10 games, 9.5 runs per game, so much better production lately. The Twins for the season against lefties, pretty decent, 252, 4.1, 4.3, I should say, runs per game. And Sam Hentges, look, just not someone I trust either for this Cleveland rotation. 8.64 ERA on the road for him. Absolutely dreadful away from home as well. Now, he did pitch better against Pittsburgh. I don't know if I want to put too much stock in that, though. Pirates are not the same lineup as some of these others he's faced. He faced the Angels. They bombed him. Detroit, they bombed him. Toronto, they bombed him. So I don't really trust him to get the job done. We've talked about Happ, too, in these overs with him on the mound. It's just been an overpalooza for J Happ with him on the mound. One over after another. Let me get you the exact numbers, but it is like right now with J Happ on the mound, over and 5-0 in his last 5 starts, 10-0 in his last 10 starts overall to the over. Now you're paying a premium here because you're getting a total of 10 in this game, although it's 9.5 now in some spots. So it's come down a bit. I like 9.5 a whole hell of a lot more than I like a 10 in this game. So I'll go with that over 9.5 here with Cleveland, Minnesota. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, either 10s or even money. 9.5's a little bit of juice. Man, I like fading Happ. So, and I love hearing looking all these Indians that hit him. I think there's a little value with them. We'll see. First 5 getting plus 130 because no way Happ should be minus 135, 140 here in this game. The Twins, they got to be sellers, I think, soon. Buxton came back, broke his hand. They're just still lingering 10 games under 500. This Twins team I want nothing to do with, but maybe the Indians, they couldn't do it the other day. It ended up in a 6-6 push, and maybe, there's tons of runs, so lean to the over 9.5, but Indians first 5 plus 130, I think has a little bit of value.
I think so too. It's not like Hentges is very good either, but he's definitely not quite as bad as Happ, and you're still getting the better team at a good price. Cleveland is still the better of these two teams, 41 and 32 versus 32. And so I don't mind the Cleveland look. I think Cleveland's the only way I would go from a side perspective at this price. No way would I want to lay any price with Minnesota and J Happ. There's no question about that. Pittsburgh and St. Louis. We've got Max Kranick on the mound here for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Johan Oviedo for the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis minus 130. Home favorites, 9 the total, shaded to the over. I think odds makers are onto something here with this move going in the direction it is. I'm not a big fan of Johan Oviedo, not by any stretch of the imagination. He's struggled for much of the season so far. Kind of like Wainwright in that he's pitched a little bit better at home. And look, we saw Wainwright deliver the goods again yesterday. Not a shock. Wainwright at home. He owned Pittsburgh. We talked about that was not the spot to go against St. Louis. That was a get-well spot for them yesterday, and it was. St. Louis got the win 3-1, but they're still not hitting, a whole lot, St. Louis. I mean, they only squeaked out 3 runs yesterday, and now they're laying a price. Oviedo, he's been better at home, 3.28 ERA. Max Kranick, we'll have to see how he fares. This is going to be his first start of the season for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 11th round draft pick in 2016. So, this is a guy that's reworked his mechanics. He's doing shorter arm action to speed up his velocity. He's mixing pitches. They've tried to work with him in different ways because he's just been one of those guys that's been struggling to make it and crack the major league level. 4.02 ERA in AA this year, 4.66 ERA in AAA. That's nothing to write home about. So I don't necessarily trust him here. Now, the Cardinals lineup's not easy to trust either, but I don't trust Kranick as well. Oviedo, I would lean Pittsburgh here first 5. in this one if I were to lean one way or another. I think that is probably the side I would go with here. Pittsburgh first 5 in this one, potentially full game as well, because when you look at the bullpens, believe it or not, let me see the last 10 games here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, St. Louis's bullpen's been pretty good lately. Yeah, 2.78 ERA from the St. Louis bullpen in their last 10 games. Pretty good. So I'd probably just go first 5. Normally, I like to do the split, but I might do just the first 5 focus. I think Pittsburgh can crack a few runs across the board against Oviedo. I don't necessarily love Kranick, but St. Louis's lineup, the one thing is they haven't seen him, so maybe he can get through a turn or two without much damage. So I'm going to go with a small bet Pittsburgh first 5 here on the money line at a plus price. Connor, what do you think here?
I'll be quick. I want nothing to do with this game. If I were to bet it, I just can't trust this Kranick kid. It'd be the Pirates. I talked about it. They're getting a little healthier, that lineup. So I'd look at them. Yeah, first 5 plus 120. That'd be my only look. I want nothing else here. Cardinals got it done yesterday. I didn't pull the trigger on the first 5 under 4.5, and on 4. I don't trust Oviedo. I wouldn't want him laying minus 130. No way. Not him at home. 0-3, 4.62 ERA. The guy has all right stuff. I just don't know if he's really ever going to cut it here, Oviedo. And Kranick, I don't think it's going to last long in the big leagues. So just a pass for me.
All right, we have Kansas City, Texas, Brady Singer, Jordan Lyles pitching matchup here in this game. Right now, even money, both sides pretty much across the board. Right now with this one, minus 110, total 9, shaded to the under. Brady Singer, people are very, very, I guess you would say there's some expectations for him, but he's still looking to get consistent and be that reliable pitcher every single time out. And he ain't there yet. He's still, I think next year you're going to see him make a great leap forward and be pretty good. But right now he's just not there yet. He hasn't harnessed the consistency. He hasn't figured out how to pitch well on the road yet. 5.52 ERA away from home. He got banged around by the Yankees in his last start. 2 runs, 5 hits, 3.2 innings of work. Before that, he went on the road against Oakland, gave up 3 runs, 5 hits in 6 innings of work, got mashed by Tampa on the road. So he's had a lot of trouble on the road lately. The question is, can Texas do damage against him? Texas's lineup, not quite the lineup that some of those teams he did face on the road, that those lineups are. We'll have to wait and see. But Jordan Lyles on the flip side for the Texas Rangers, 5.47 ERA, 5.28 in his last 3 starts, 5.91 ERA at home. I don't necessarily trust him. Brady Singer's the X factor here. I don't know what I'm going to get from him today. So this is one of those games where I would take out that side of it. I don't want to worry about the Singer versus the Rangers lineup, but what I will focus on is Lyles against the Royals, and I think the Royals can do some damage here against Jordan Lyles here in this game today. Sal Perez, 2 for 5, 2 home runs, by the way, against Jordan Lyles. Definitely a Jack of the Day candidate in my mind. So I'd lean Kansas City's team total here a little bit over, especially after yesterday. They got their ass kicked by Texas. We were worried about them going up against Gibson. We talked about how good Gibson has been this season for the Texas Rangers. And of course, they get the 8-0 shutout yesterday. It's a good little spot for the Royals bats, I think, to wake up against a pretty bad pitcher in Jordan Lyles. So I like the Royals team total over here a little bit. What do you think, Connor?
2 guys I do not like backing, so I'm going to stay way, way far away. Singer just hasn't been good. He's on the road, 4.77 ERA. I don't like Lyles. He's gotten hit hard. The Royals, I can't trust their bats. We talked about the Rangers struggled. They came through yesterday, scored 8 runs. There's just no way at minus 107, basically even money right now, looking at this between these. I can't take the Royals, and I don't want the Rangers either. This was a quick pass. All
right. You're probably the wise one. I'm still going to take Kansas City team total because has Texas swept a team this year? Honestly, that's a legit question. Has Texas swept a series this year? Because they would sweep this series if they win today. I don't think they have. So I'm going to dare this really bad Texas team to sweep a series. I don't think they've got it in them to do it. Now, maybe Kansas City's just in that much of a rough shape. We're talking about a 29-48 team. I doubt they've swept anybody this year with that kind of record. So this could be actually the first time that they sweep a team in a series if they win today. I'm going to have to see it before I believe it. So, yeah, the Royals team total. Better or worse, we're going with that. Royals team, they should hit Lyles today. They should. If they don't, that's shame on them if that's the case. All right. 7th inning stretch time because we've come up to the West Coast action. We have 4 games left. They're all on the West Coast, plus, of course, Sunday Night Baseball, which is actually also on the West Coast because it's the Dodger game. It's Sunday Night Baseball tonight. So we'll talk to everyone in the chat here and acknowledge everyone. Please hit the like button. This is an incredible amount of viewers that we have here today, 230 live viewers. Brian Watson, Joey Harb, Raymond Reddington, Cash Action Bets, MR, MMA Locker Room, Not Applicable, Christian Larson, Joey Harb, Cortez Lindley, Bill McDonald, Anthony Witherspoon, Andre Ergo Caustic, Brian Watson, Outstanding, JW, Anthony Imbrogno, Emmanuel Smith, Big Show, everybody in the chat. We appreciate it. You guys tuning in on a Sunday. Dave McKenna with us, Max on Record, Mr. Walker, Cheshire Cat. Incredible turnout. Thank you, everybody. Keon Jackson, Ogie Oros, thank you for the CFL question. I'm excited about CFL. Platinum Paul, good to see you. Everybody, we appreciate that in the chat with us today. Luke Murphy, I think we got everybody there. Andre, we already said Andre. DC, yep, we got Whack Prescott, there we go. I was waiting to see. And Jay Cash and Andrew Sealer, there we go. I like the names there in the chat. So I think we got everybody. Yeah, Uncle Oliver, Pie Guy, there we go. A few more flooding in. So thanks to everybody for joining us here on a Sunday. You love my voice. I'm glad that makes one of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Next up, we've got Oakland and San Francisco. Cole Irvin and Sammy long. San Francisco minus 145. Home favorites, 8.5 the total in this game. Sammy Long is someone that the Giants have high hopes for in this rotation, but he's still young. He's still learning. I don't think he's a finished product, polished product yet at the major league level. And we have seen definitely signs of that with the way he's pitched. Like you say, you got to be patient. You can't just throw these guys out there and expect to, throw complete games and throw shutouts right away. Sometimes it takes time, and I think it might take Sammy Long time. What I'm concerned about for him here is the athletics, for the most part, this season have been pretty decent against lefties. We'll see if that carries on here against Sammy Long today. On the other side of the fence here, you've got this San Francisco team. Is this San Francisco team insane or what? What they're like? They just don't give up. Their hashtag is resilient SF. That's the Twitter hashtag for the San Francisco Giants, and you can't say it any better than that. Resilient. That's what this team is. They get behind yesterday against Oakland. They tie the game on a Donovan Solano home run, which cashed the over as the best bet on the show yesterday for me. And then, of course, they win in extra innings. I mean, it was a thrilling comeback win for the Giants. They just never say die. They've won now the first 2 games of this series, going for the sweep. And usually I like to go against bet against the team trying to sweep, especially when it's a good team trying to avoid the sweep. But there's no way I'm betting against this Giants team at the moment. They've got some real magic going right now. I love the way this lineup is hitting 1 through 9. Slater, Flores, Solano, the big home run. How about this Lamonte Wade? He's hit the lineup and he's, done some damage. Posey and Crawford and Belt, the old veterans, the old stalwarts, look like they're playing with revitalized youth and enthusiasm and energy right now. This is a ball club that's got it, that's feeling it right now. They're feeling it. On the 25th anniversary of Jay-Z, by the way, Reasonable Doubt, a few days ago. So I thought I'd throw that in there. But San Francisco Giants are on a roll. I have no interest, none, zero, going against them. Even if maybe Oakland's chomping at the bit trying to avoid the sweep, and I don't trust Irvin enough. Giants are hitting lefties actually pretty well themselves when you look at it. 240 average against lefties for the season, 5.45 runs per game. But in the last 10 games, 269 average, 7.3 runs per game against lefties for the San Fran team. I think this game goes over the total, to be honest with you. I was on the over yesterday. I don't know if I like the over quite as much today. but I like it enough to bet it. That's the way I would go here, over 8.5 with the A's and the Giants. What do you think here, Connor Mack?
I want to look up real quick. Do you have the weather? Is the wind still blowing out real heavy? Do you have it with you?
Muted, Ian.
Yeah, it looks like it's blowing out to left field.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's blowing out to left field. That wind today, 11 miles per hour. That's not a small wind either. So you're talking about another game here, Connor, where the wind is blowing out to left at Oracle Park.
Cool. I got it. Sorry, I just didn't have it pulled up. Yeah, I wish it was still that 8. I lean this way. Irvin, every time I've watched his last 3 or 4 starts, I've seen him. He gets roughed up. I don't trust him at all. He's not the guy I want. Long's been pretty good. We'll see. He's young kid. Obviously, their draft pick, I think, in 2016. I'd only be on the Giants. Yeah, first 5. Maybe even a half a run. You could get plus money with it. The A's, though, hit lefties all right. But they've been a team that's got me a bit lately. I just can't. I don't know. I can't take the A's. I lose. But I've been good with their team totals. So, yeah, I lean over here, but I like Giants. I stick with them. That's one bet. Giants just keep winning. So I just keep taking them.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Why stop? I mean, people are saying, the Giants are going to fall off. Giants are going to fade. Giants are going to fade. Yeah, I said that 2 months ago. I'm not saying it anymore. I mean, when you're 50-26, you deserve some credit. You deserve to, and you need to back off your comments that they're going to fall off when you have a record like that. You got to give them credit for what they're doing. And the more I see them, the more I think, you know what? They're going to hang in this NL West race start to finish. I don't know about win the division because, the Dodgers and Padres are good teams. They're going to make a run. But I don't think they're falling out of this race. I think they're in it for the whole season, the Giants at this rate, at this point in time. So I'm done saying I'm done being on that bandwagon, saying that the Giants are just going to fall apart here down the stretch. They're continuing to play good ball. Next up, we got Arizona, San Diego. Zach Gallen, Yu Darvish, San Diego minus 260. Home favorites here in this one at Petco. 7.5 the total, shaded to the under in this one. Thanks for showing up last night, San Diego. I mean, what the hell happened to them last night? My gosh, I like the team total. I sprinkled a little on the run line, thinking here's Merrill Kelly. He's terrible on the road. They've mashed him in the past. And sure enough, he is lights out. And the guy that had been lights out going into last night, Lamet, gets absolutely steamrolled in that game by that Arizona lineup. And the Diamondbacks win a road game. Stop the presses. The Arizona Diamondbacks win a road game, but almost like a no-show of sorts for the San Diego Padres. I mean, you got nothing from them. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr., nothing. Machado, nothing. Jake from Rake Farm, Cronenworth, he didn't do anything last night. The whole team last night completely shut down. Very, very surprising to see that. They have a chance to bounce back here. Gallen's weird for me, Connor, in that I like the guy. I think he's got good stuff, but he just hasn't shown it yet this season since he's come back. Had a little bit of a tougher time of it. The last start was better, though. Was that a buy sign? Last start against Milwaukee, did pitch a lot better. 1 run, 3 hits, 5 innings, no walks, 8 strikeouts. That definitely looks like it could be a buy sign that Zach Gallen turning a corner here for Arizona. I will not be on San Diego here because I do think that Gallen might pitch better here. He definitely showed signs of improvement, big improvement in his last start. We'll see how he fares here today. Yu Darvish on the other side, believe it or not, Yu Darvish has been great. No question. I mean, 2.5 ERA, 2.18 ERA this season. He was terrific against the Dodgers when they beat them 6-2 last week, 1 run in 6 innings. He's been great at home. But this Arizona team, they've gotten some licks in against him. David Peralta, 4 for 10. Asdrubal Cabrera, 8 for 21. Ketel Marte, 5 for 12, 417 average. And a couple of these guys have hit him for home runs. And you could get some damn good prices probably on some of these Arizona players to hit a home run today. And they got to be feeling more confidence as a team and as a lineup after what they did last night against San Diego. So I don't hate those looks. Peralta to hit a home run. He's hit 2 against Darvish. Cabrera to hit a home run against Darvish. He's hit 3 against you, Darvish. And Marquez hit 1 against him as well. Yeah, Eduardo Escobar has hit a home run against him. Stephen Vogt's hit a home run against him. So keep an eye on that. He's in great form right now, but against Arizona, there's been some shaky moments for him against some of these Diamondbacks hitters. So that's the tricky part here. Maybe an Arizona team total. I think I might do that. Arizona team total over in this game.
2.5.
I think that's the way to go. Because, what if Gallen struggles against the Padres? Padres aren't going to be happy with, getting shut down last night. So that lineup could come alive. I would just rather bank on, some of these numbers against Darvish. And I think it's maybe I don't want to say letdown spot because I don't always believe in that. But Darvish has this incredible start in a big game against the Dodgers last week. This would be the perfect time for him to maybe just fall off a little bit. And again, the team total for Arizona is 2.5 even money. Over 2.5 minus 110. That team total for Arizona. I think I'm going to bet that sucker. I think I will. Arizona team total over 2.5 here. What do you think, Connor?
Well, the first 2 games, cash right away. You didn't have to wait for them to do it.
Yep.
And the numbers are just pretty gaudy, this Arizona lineup against Darvish. We know he's a bit different. He's obviously this year he's been lights out so far. But I think that's a good move, taking the over 2.5. Yeah, the Padres. Hey, when I take the Padres, teams just hit the shits. They did it to me again. Man, just gave it to me. Come on. And my best bet, I like the over 7.5. I bet that too. And then I had to in-game the over again at 9.5. It got there. I got my money back. But, man, they suck. I want nothing to do with them. They should hit. We'll see. Gallen pitched well, like you said, in his last start. And he's a guy that I've liked it in the past. Yeah. But I don't know. This is an in-game look I'll look at as well. Maybe to go. This could go over 7.5. It's plus 105 maybe here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean in that way. A slight wind blowing out. I would lean full game over as well, just because the number's so low and because Arizona's had some success here against Darvish. But I like that team total. I mean, again, they got to 3+ runs easily in the first 2 games of this series against Paddock and against Lamet. And Paddock's a decent pitcher. Lamet's actually, we think he's going to be pretty good. And now and Darvish obviously is very good, but they've been able still to get to 3 runs in this series. So, they're proving it's worth it here. Let me see Arizona, by the way, recently. Let's see what they've done here. Here we go. Arizona, 10 runs, 5 runs. Then they got held down to 2-0 against Milwaukee. But before that, then they scored 5, 8, 3, 0, 3, 7. So in their last 10 games, Arizona has scored at least 3 runs in, looks like, 7 of the last 10 games. So they've scored at least 3 runs in 7 of the last 10 games. So you have a 70% chance based on the last 10 games. And you've got a team total here, plus 100, minus 110, right around even money. So I think that's a positive expectation, positive EV type bet when you really do the numbers and do the math and see what they've done here the last 10 games. So yeah, I like that. Arizona team total over for me. And I might look at some of those extremely, like we're talking plus 750, plus 800 for some of these guys to hit a home run today for Arizona against you, Darvish. So potential big payouts if some of these guys can leave the yard against you, Darvish, today. Seattle, Chicago White Sox, Robert Duggar, Dallas Keuchel on the mound. This game will start later. This is a later game for Chicago because they're finishing up the game that was stopped yesterday due to rain. So it'll be after that game concludes, they'll start this one. Right here, we've got no pitcher yet announced for the Seattle Mariners, although it looked like it. I think it's going to be Duggar, but not sure it's totally confirmed yet. Keuchel for the White Sox here in this game. Looks like they'll be favored in that minus 165 range probably when this line opens fully across the board. We'll see how it goes here in this one. But, when you think about this from a Seattle perspective, Seattle's been a scrappy team lately. They've played deep, they're above 500 again. 40 and 37. So that's pretty good to see here for this Mariners team. The last 10 games against lefties, 255, 4.93 runs per game. The White Sox, again, they've kind of struggled. Their offense has kind of gone silent here the last few games. And right now, I talked about it yesterday, Seattle's the value side right now in terms of current form. It ain't the White Sox. So I certainly wouldn't be rushing to lay a price with Keuchel. Again, we'll check to see who's going to start for Seattle. But I can tell you this right now, I'm not laying a price with the White Sox at the moment. Do you agree, Connor?
Yeah, I agree. My other best look I thought was that first 5 under. It was cruising right along until the rain happened. I had a little money on the Mariners full game. Yeah, we'll see who's starting if it's Keuchel. White Sox are just struggling right now. I just want nothing to do with them until they get going again. So it'd be Mariners or pass for me. I'm going to stay way far away, though, from this one.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. We've reached the final game on this Sunday slate, Sunday Night Baseball. Chicago Cubs, LA Dodgers, Adbert Alzolay on the mound for the Cubs. Clayton Kershaw here for the Dodgers. Dodgers in that minus 200 range. Home favorites here, total 8 across the board in this one. The Dodgers, the lineup is starting to rev up the engine, but they're not firing at they're not cruising at 100 miles per hour yet, though, either. Because they had their chances yesterday against Alec Mills. They had so many chances to really put a big number on the board, and Mills just kept on wiggling his way out of trouble, and the Dodgers kept stubbing their toe when runners were in scoring position last night, and they ended up having to hang on for a 3-2 victory. And now they've gone under in 3 straight, and look, the lineup's been a little bit, not great the last week or so. Going back to that San Diego series, they've scored 2-2, 3-0, 6-3. I mean, nothing to write home about. And now you're facing Alzolay, who, he's ups and downs. I think I like Alzolay a little bit better at Wrigley Field. But still 4.19 ERA, 4.61 ERA on the road this season. But again, we've seen Arrieta and Alec Mills hold this Dodgers lineup in check. Alzolay is better than those two guys. So I don't know what you're going to get here from the Dodgers. I'm done trusting them to just hit. That was, as Conor has said a million times on this show, that was a prime pitcher for them to smack. Righty that's not very good, and still they struggled, and they only got 3 runs yesterday in that game. So something's off right now with this Dodgers lineup. On the flip side, you got Kershaw, 3.06 ERA for him. His track record against the Chicago Cubs. He struggled against them in his start at Wrigley this year. Didn't even get out of the second inning. 4 runs. Didn't even record an out in the second inning of that game. They lost 7-1. But he's been better against the Cubs here at Dodger Stadium. The last 2 starts against them at Dodger Stadium, both Dodger wins 5-2, 7-3. Is very solid in both of those outings. The Cubs, though, we know they are better against lefties. But again, they are for the season, they're better against lefties. But in the last 10 games, they're not hitting much against anything, righties or lefties. They're hitting 149 against righties the last 10, 254 against lefties, which is better, but they're still only averaging 2.45 runs per game against lefties in the last 10 games. So I think the Dodgers and Kershaw win, but I don't like their team total over because I can't trust the lineup fully right now. And Kershaw, I think, is better, a little more trustworthy than Alzolay, and they'll find a way to win. But I think it could be like yesterday, where it's 3-2, 4-3, something like that. I'm probably not going to get involved in this game. What do you think, Connor? Cubs, Dodgers, Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. I look at the Cubs, though, first 5. I just see all these gaudy numbers. I know Kershaw's been better at home than in Wrigley Field. They've really hit him hard in Wrigley. But Chris Bryant, 7 for 22, 3 home runs. Rizzo, 10 for 29 with 3 home runs. Contreras, 7 for 16 with 2 home runs off Kershaw. Maybe the Cubs get some runs early. But yeah, the guy in the chat, Kershaw, what was that in the last few games? This first 5 under 4 at even money's got me a little bit intrigued. Usually he'll give up that home run. Usually it's a solo or a 2-run dinger. Then Kershaw kind of settles in. He does that a ton of his starts. I'm kind of looking at the first 5 under 4 at even money a little bit.
Just thinking to myself, too, they only got 2 runs off of Mills yesterday. I kept saying 3. They only got 2. The third run was the Bellinger walk-off in the 9th inning. I mean, that's terrible. Alex Mills is awful, and they are just letting that guy off the hook many times last night. I couldn't believe what I was seeing here. I mean, so that's why they've got issues, right? That's why it's hard right now with the Dodgers. I think the best way to go in this game is don't take either side. Don't bet either total. Maybe sprinkle on Rizzo, and like Rizzo hit a home run yesterday against Arias. sprinkle on some of these Cubs. Rizzo, Bryant, maybe they hit a home run here, because you're right. They do have some home run numbers against Clayton Kershaw. That might be just the best way to go. Put a couple bucks on some home run props, and just a little fun to enjoy the game, because it's the only game, obviously, tonight, with it being a Sunday night baseball. All right, great stuff, Connor. That is the Sunday card. We will get to best bets. We will get to Jack of the Day in just a second. But first, pause for a couple of messages. All right, there it is, Southtown 101. Check them out when you're in San Antonio for food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke as well. Manscaped, promo code PubSports, 20% off Lawnmower 4.0. Fresh new product, ready for your purchasing pleasure. 20% off that purchase or any products from Manscaped if you use the promo code PubSports. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. NFL just around the corner. College football just around the corner. Seriously, it is almost here. Of course, the NHL and the NBA playoffs still have a little bit left as well. MLB, great time of year to check out mybookie.ag. Open up an account there. Bitcoin is an accepted currency for your deposit if you'd like to use it. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, Sunday MLB. Finally had a good Sunday last week. I did. Hopefully more of the same today. It's time for Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
This is one of those days where Jack of the Day, there's a lot more options on the menu than sometimes you get, especially on a Sunday. But there's a bunch of different places we could go for Jack of the Day. Obviously, we mentioned some of those Arizona hitters, Peralta, Cabrera against Darvish. Even though Darvish is in great form, I like Sal Perez against Lyles. That's a good home run prop. Story and Blackman goes without saying against Eric Lauer. Those are good home run prop Jack of the Day candidates. The two Rosarios against Jay Hapless. I think you could go with those two against him in that game. Just a bunch of good ones today. Juan Soto against Sandy Alcantara. I wouldn't argue with that one. I'd go with a couple Blue Jays here against Jorge Lopez today. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'd go with Springer, who's hit a home run against him. Simeon, Randall Grichuk as well. So a couple of Jays I think are worth a look from a home run prop. We'll stop there. But any of those, if I had to pick one above the rest, I would say probably I'd go Sal Perez against Lyles. 2 home runs. I think it's a big day for Kansas City's offense to get back on track. He hits Lyles pretty good, Sal Perez. But I like all of those I just mentioned as well. What do you think here, Connor? Jack of the Day?
Yeah, some of the Yankees, I think the Gleyber Torres, 6 for 17, 3 homers. Gary Sanchez, you could look at a few others, Judge, them. I had Soto down, Blackman, Story, and maybe look at the Cubs, like you talked about. Sunday Night Baseball, the Rizzo. Kershaw usually gives up that dinger, especially early. So one of those, Bryant, Rizzo, they've hit him. Mark Contreras, maybe one of those guys for a Jack of the Day.
Not only that, but Bryant's hit a couple home runs this week. Rizzo hit one last night. So you've got guys that have, in terms of current form, they've hit some home runs lately coming into tonight. So, and they have the success against Kershaw doing that. So, those Cubs home run props, they look like they might be worth a look tonight in that Sunday nighter. All right, best bet. See if we can deliver more winning action with the best bet. We'll start with Connor Mack. What do you like today, best bet?
I got to go to it. It might be the shits. It's better not shit on me. I keep saying that. I need to snap my shit. Rockies, Brewers. I bet it last night, minus 105. It's minus 120. Some places minus 125. Chichi Gonzalez, Lauer, all the numbers. Take the over 9.
There you go. You better come home, Chichi Gonzalez. You better go home tonight. Been going
Better
to
go
dugout.
home. You better get rocked.
Yeah, exactly. Chichi Gonzalez and the Rockies against Eric Lauer. Over 9, minus 120. Best bet for Conor Mack. And no argument there. Full agreement. That's on my card as well. Colorado, Milwaukee over 9. Not for best bet, but it is on my card today. That game. My best bet. I'm going to go to. You know what? I'm going to go with the Cleveland Indians, Minnesota Twins. We're going to go over 9.5 in that game. I like that one quite a bit. There's really nothing to like. Like this, if this loses, so be it. It's the nature of baseball, where sometimes all the numbers add up to an over, and it'll stay under. You're just going to have to deal with it. That sometimes that's what can happen in a sport like baseball. That being said, all the numbers point to this game going over the total. Hap starts have gone over the total in 10 straight coming into this game tonight. So, and I've been riding it. I used a Hap over the last time for a best bet when he was on the mound. It went over the total. I'm sticking right with it again today. Cleveland, Minnesota, over 9.5. That'll be my best bet for this Sunday MLB card. That'll wrap it up for this Sunday edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Incredible. Plus over 200 live viewers. We appreciate it. But don't go too far from your computer, from your Roku device, your Fire Stick, whatever devices you're using to watch us. Don't go too far from them, because we've got the NBA Pub Hub coming up at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll look back at a weird, ugly offensive display that was Game 4 last night between the Suns and the Clippers, and we'll look ahead to a big Game 3 in the East Final tonight. Bucks and the Hawks, series tied at 1. Join us at the top of the hour for the NBA Pub Hub with me, Conor, Dutch, and Ski. For Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the MLB action. Good luck with your bets. And we'll talk to you in a little bit for the NBA Pub Hub right here on Pub Sports Radio.